Randy Buehler here with Brian David Marshall. We're in the booth. We're getting ready for the World's quarterfinals. We've got the team competition to be determined. We're going to play those semifinals off camera and then bring the two semifinal winning teams on camera for that finals. We're going to start with the individual quarterfinals, and to give you a rundown on who's going to be competing, what the matchups are like, we're going to throw it real quick to Rich Hagon.
It's the biggest day of the Magic year, and you are very welcome to a festival of entertainment that would grace any emperor's grand Colosseum. 4 national teams and 8 stout men and true come here taking their decks into the maelstrom. By the end of the day, only the champions will remain, basking in the adulation of you, the global audience. In team competition, the standout were the Czech Republic. Impressive isn't really the word. Listen, they annihilated that competition. Across 3 days, they ended up almost 20 points clear of their nearest rivals. That's almost unheard of. They now face Austria in the semis, having already beaten them earlier in the week. Benedikt Klauser leads the Austrian team, and they went 2-2 in the team rounds and must now reverse that earlier defeat at the hands of the Czechs. If they do, this will be their second final appearance in just 3 years. The other semi-final sees the third-place team, Netherlands, take on surprise package China. Jiang Zhang, Wu Tong and Bo Li have between them a lifetime 21 pro points. But listen, they were undefeated in team rounds. Yes, they lack experience, but play skill, they've got plenty. The Netherlands were also undefeated in team play, and their team of Niels Norlander, Tom van Lemoine and national champion Kevin Grove will certainly not freeze on the big occasion. We'll see the winners of the semi-finals live later in the webcast. As for the individual event, we have 8 well-known names, and one of them is going to be a Magic superstar in just a few short hours. David Reitbauer of Austria already has World Sunday experience. He was part of the Austrian team that finished second behind Switzerland in New York 2007. He plays Jund. It's pretty much exactly what you would expect Jund to be. Bloodbraid Elf cascading, Putrid Leech, Broodmate Dragons. Basically, exactly the stuff you've been losing to on Magic Online for months. His opponent is German pro Florian Pils, making his first foray into Sunday play. Pils also plays Jund, so you can expect a lot of what's on the top of my deck this time cascade action in this one. Let's head across town to quarterfinal 2. Now, Moraine Liebert left it late, but he now has a Pro Tour top 8 for each of the last 3 seasons. Playing Jund, his is a fairly stock list without too many personal quirks. Moraine was the last undefeated player here at Worlds 09, going 11-0 before being bested by Bram. No last man standing has yet won Worlds, so Moraine is looking to create his own little piece of Magic history here today. In his way is Andre Coimbra of Portugal. After a year away from the game, Coimbra used his level 3 invite for Worlds and turned to none other than Mike Flores for a standard deck. The Top Decks author offered up a Naya deck that looks to punish Jund for their mana base via Ajani Vengeant, and also run out powerful threats like Woolly Thoctor as early as turn 2. Over we go to quarterfinal 3. Manuel Buehler of Switzerland faces the sole non-European in this top 8, Terry So. Buehler has lifted a World's Trophy before, being part of the 2007 Team World Champions. A former Grand Prix winner, this is his first Pro Tour top 8. Playing a Bant deck, he'll look to use Rock's Warmonk as an early, tough-to-deal-with threat, and then he'll bring Baneslayer Angels into play early and often. His opponent, Malaysia's Terry So, is a former Magic Invitational winner, and he came here largely because his brother Joe was Malaysian national champion this year. He takes a different approach to Naya than Coimbra. So has gone the really aggressive route, with Goblin Guides and +4/+2 Colossal Mites looking to smash face in double quick fashion. So that leaves quarter-final 4, and William Cavalieri, who designed the Black-Red Tokens deck that took him to victory in Italian Nationals last year. Now he returns Tokens to the big stage, but this time it's mono white. That means Conqueror's Pledge and Emeria Angel, both from Zendikar. He faces an intriguing matchup against the legend that is Bram Snetvangers of the Netherlands. In addition to being one of the greatest community builders the game has known, Bram has been making top 8s for a decade, and this is his 4th Pro Tour Sunday outing. He runs Boros Bushwhacker, the super aggressive red-white deck that also has quite a bit of finishing power. Rightbow and Pills, Libert and Coimbra, Buka and So, Cavalieri and Snapbangers. The gladiatorial combat in the arena is about to begin. And here, to call all the action as it happens, Pro Tour historian Brian David Marshall and your host, Hall of Famer, Mr. Randy Buehler. Let the games begin.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
Bunch of interesting matchups.
Bunch of interesting matchups, bunch of interesting stories, like a lot of really interesting players in this top 8.
Agreed.
I'm fascinated to see Bram Snapbangers. It's the first time I've actually gotten to watch him play in a Pro Tour top 8. He's been playing forever. Has not been in the top 8 since I started in the booth.
So who's your pick? You got to pick one guy.
I really like, I've interviewed William in my column when he was the Italian national champion, and I really like his deck. I like the way his deck seems to be positioned against the Boros deck.
Oh yeah, his matchup against Braum. I love the Soul Wardens against the Boros Bushwhacker deck with 1 million token generators.
Yeah, he seems like he has the ability to sort of time walk this deck, many times over, and get his game set up with Emeria Angel and with his Conqueror's Pledge and his Honor the Pure.
We're also going to see the hometown crowd really pulling for Cavalieri, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a great story, right? I mean, we're Worlds in Rome, and
last year's Italian national champion. Yep. There haven't been a ton of Italian players in the top 8, but here we've got him, and this, he really innovated last year with that black-red tokens deck that he won Italian Nationals with. Right? That took over Standard, became the deck to beat, right?
Yeah, everyone was looking at the deck and a torrent of souls. It was really an innovation.
It was, and this was the guy.
And he innovated here again, right? He said, I want to build a white deck that does not play Baneslayer Angel.
Right.
I don't know if that's, frugality or obstinance or what was at work, but he had showed his deck to Olivier. Ruel, and Olivier said, well, why don't you have Baneslayer Angel? He's like, I want to build a white deck without Baneslayer Angel. And, boom, here he is, playing in the top 8 of the World Championships in his home country.
My pick, though, I think is the guy I think is the best player in this top 8, the most talented, is Marin Lebert. It's his, I think, 4th top 8 now. Or 3rd or 4th top 8.
3rd top 8. He's top 8'd once each of the last 3 seasons.
He's just really good. He's a great community guy. He's got this community of Belgian players that more or less revolves around him. Just supremely talented, really good player. I don't know. The deck's not the most exciting story. It's, it's Jund with a couple of cards here and there, different from the stock build. But you know what? That is the best deck. And the best deck often tends to win these Pro Tours. Becomes sort of the iconic deck remembered by history.
Right. We've seen this, the best players in top 8s playing the best deck in the format, playing it over and over again, learning the intricacies, sort of challenging all comers. It's like, okay, you've got white tokens, let's go.
Right.
Oh, you've got Naya, let's go. Let's see if you can beat me. Marin has a little bit of a sort of national challenge before him.
Oh.
So no Dutch-speaking. Granted, this is going to be a little bit like one of those baseball statistics where they talk about, Alex Rodriguez swinging at second pitches and batting out. It's a little obscure, but no Dutch-speaking Belgian has gotten out of the quarterfinals of a Pro Tour top 8.
Oh, interesting.
Jeffrey Serone has won. A Belgian has won a Pro Tour, but he is a French-speaking Belgian.
Oh, of course.
So we have, I believe, Christophe Gregoire, Marin, yeah,
so he's 0 for 2 in the quarterfinals so far.
I am personally, he's 0 for 2 in the quarterfinals. He'd pretty much like to have a semifinals.
He's like 2/3 or 2/4 of the Dutch-speaking Belgians anyway, right? How many Dutch-speaking Belgians? It's him, Gregoire. Is this a long list?
It's not a very long list.
No, it's so Lord. Okay, your stat is Marin is 0 for 2 in the quarters.
Yes.
Looking to break the schneid.
He tried to present it as Dutch-speaking Belgians.
Sure.
I really, it's going to be an interesting matchup, too. Andre Coimbra is playing Naya. Marin thinks he's favored in that matchup.
Yeah, it's interesting. Marin thinks he's favored, but Coimber's playing a Flores deck that was designed specifically to beat Jund.
And one of the specific design elements of that deck is something that Marin is very critical of. There's no Jungle Shrine in the deck.
Right.
There's no Jungle Shrine in the deck, which is something that I think is very specific. Mike wants the deck to be able to play a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, be able to get a turn 2 Woolly Thoktar, which is difficult to do with coming to play tapped lands.
Well, we'll see. Looks like the players are ready though, so
we're going to start on Bram.
Let's go watch some Magic. We'll be right back.
The Bramboozling begins.